Hello everyone. Today's video is about Steven Crowder. Steven Crowder is a conservative YouTuber that I totally do not like at all. During this video, I will be proving to you how Steven Crowder is racist, sexist, ableist, homophobic, transphobic, and so much more. In June 2019, Steven Crowder was investigated after using racist and homophobic slurs in his videos. But unfortunately, YouTube decided that it was not against any of their guidelines, even though it is. However, his channel was demonetized. But in August of this year, 2020, his channel was monetized again. So unlike me, Steven Crowder has 4.86 million subscribers. And he's so popular because he uses comedy to persuade people and to get people to keep on watching his videos. But his comedy is bad. It's based on ableism, sexism, racism, homophobia, transphobia. Those things form the basis for his comedy, sadly. Before I show you some of Steven Crowder's content, I want to let you know that Steven Crowder has repeatedly insisted that he is not racist. The first clip that I'm going to show you is from one of Steven Crowder's videos about climate change and COVID and how he's trying to deny the fact that he's a climate change denier and a science denier.
This is actually, it's going to have former acting CDC director Richard Besser, former HHS secretary Kathleen Sebelius, and activist Greta Thunberg.
What?
They joined Anderson Cooper and Dr. Sanjay Gupta for a live CNN town hall.
About the coronavirus.
About the coronavirus.
One of these things does not look like the other.
Yeah. What happened to the experts?
Experts.
We have the head of the CDC. We have a neurosurgeon, and we have an autistic girl who yells, "How dare you?"
I think she's perfect for the panel.
Yes.
I mean, there's nothing
Really
that's
rounds it
more
out,
important right now, according to the media, than shaming everyone for everything that they do.
Right.
I just provided you with an example of Steven Crowder being ableist. He was making fun of Greta Thunberg, who has autism. There are plenty of other examples of Steven Crowder being ableist, but I just wanted to show you one example. Later on in the video, Steven Crowder's racism becomes more apparent.
What's so funny to me is they talk about, this global economy, right? That we are all one, we are the world, hold hands and have all the flags and effectively an Amish quilt. But really, when you think about it, okay, you look at the globe and you look at the green movement, and then they have the gall to tell us, well, really the people most affected by environmental pollutants are minorities in the United States. So the people most affected by coronavirus in the United States are black people. Okay, hold on a second. Who's most affected by the Green New Deal? Who's most affected by the Kyoto Protocol, which would skyrocket energy costs, which for us is mildly inconvenient because you drive a crossover, but for someone in Zambia, or honestly, you don't have to go that far, for someone in Mexico, if you can wander out of your Cancun booze cruise resort, they work all week just to get enough fuel so they can heat a can of beans on an old ironing board in a drum. Who do you think is most affected by your green policy? It's inconvenient for us. It kills people in the third world who make $2 a month. So they don't really care about the most vulnerable among us. Certainly, I don't want to say no one cares. I'm saying the policies are not thoughtful of the most vulnerable among us because it is all a sacrifice at the altar of the greater good. What's the greater good? Well, the climate, the earth. It's more important than people. What's the greater good with coronavirus? Well, political expediency. It's more important than people being autonomous and being able to make their own livings. So I'm not going to make any sacrifices at that altar. And as it relates to being anti-science, I'm a climate denier as well as a coronavirus denier, I think you can look at the track record of where we lined up on climate change, where we've lined up on coronavirus, and it's remarkable that we've gotten very little wrong. Honestly, I was speaking from my gut thinking this is going to come back to bite me in the ass. Instead, I look like Nostradamus. So I will wear that badge loudly and proudly. Yep, call me a science denier.
Okay, let's break that down. He mentions how people are saying that the people that are most affected by climate change and the coronavirus just happen to be marginalized groups. That is true. Then he argues that the Green New Deal will have a devastating effect on marginalized groups. Because of the global economy, he brings up the third world countries and how poorly they are doing. Then he tries to make the Green New Deal seem like it would hurt marginalized groups. He provided zero evidence that the plan would hurt marginalized groups, and he never talked about the tax plan and just assumed it would tax the marginalized groups and have devastating effects on the economy. Then he concludes that the only benefit would be a better climate, despite mentioning earlier how it affects negatively marginalized groups. Nowhere in the video did he ever discuss anything about the Green New Deal besides that. His argument was complete nonsense. I will show you another clip from one of Steven Crowder's videos, and this video is about Jacob Blake.
We're going to talk about the DNC convention post-convention bump, and there isn't one. We're going to be talking about completely justifiable officers shooting.
Yes,
right. People get it
correct.
confused. I think that's a legal term.
This is how he starts off his video. Notice how he uses completely justified in his sentence.
Kenosha, Wisconsin. Some of these clips will be graphic. This is the reason you've heard the story, unarmed black men shot by police, that they are protesting. He's walking around from the passenger side. They've asked him to get on the ground.
Yep.
And they're aiming a gun at him, and he's reaching, and they shoot him when he reaches in his car.
Probable cause.
Wow. I mean, I don't know why you seem surprised.
I'd be like,
You know,
that's
when
exactly
police
what I
officers have
expected.
you on the other side of a car, their weapons are drawn, and they're ordering you to do something, that's usually a cue that you have posed a threat.
Well, not
you
only
should
that,
probably not do anything else.
What I would like to is bring up that still, if we have it. Bring up the still here. This wasn't a guy who was just walking away from officers. Look at that tension. That guy is basically horizontal, like the kid in What About Bob when Richard Dreyfuss is teaching him how to dive.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly.
That's what he's doing.
Yeah.
That's a
He's
guy
trying to
who's
get
actively.
something.
That's not a guy who is just passionate. Like
Right.
I was just getting my registration, officer. I was trying to put it in neutral because that could be a safety hazard for your sorry white ass.
And clearly, there's context because all of the officers already had their guns out before the guy was walking around the car back into his car. So there's definitely more going on.
They mentioned the probable cause because he posed a threat, apparently. No, he did not. Jacob Blake did not pose a threat. There was no justification for his death. He also made fun of Jacob Blake, of course.
Into his car. We have a statement from the governor that Jacob Blake was shot in the back multiple times in broad daylight. Why does that matter?
Come on.
First off, multiple times doesn't matter. Broad daylight doesn't matter.
No.
Was the guy posing a threat? Was the guy not complying? Could the guy have turned around and shot officers? Doesn't matter if he shot him. I don't care if it's dusk, dawn, nautical twilight, civil twilight. It could not be less relevant.
Yeah, and again, if all you need to know is the colors of the people involved, you're reasoning like a child. You're not able to sort out the morality, and obviously there's some kind of crazy situation going on. Again, we have to reduce it down to the color of the people involved. The cop was white, the person was black.
Yeah.
Here is what they argue. They basically just argue that any evidence that shows that this is tragic is irrelevant, so it's just a black guy being killed by a white. They provided us with zero evidence that this death was justified.
I was just reaching in to put the air conditioning on recycle because otherwise it's not efficient.
And then the governor basically said, here are all the other cases that I know that have been tragic. He tries to lump all these things together. You know what he didn't say? He didn't say one word in support of police officers who felt that their life was in danger and a man was trying to get into his car to grab something.
Yeah.
He didn't say one word.
Well, there you go. Steven Crowder made fun of Jacob Blake. Again, they're arguing that just because he reached into his car that he posed a threat to the officers. And then they try to make it about cops and not the people that were actually killed in the incident. The sad thing is that Steven Crowder, he knows what he's doing. He knows that he's racist, that he's homophobic, that he's sexist, that he's ableist, that he's this, that he's that. He knows that, and he knows that he's lying to people and that he's actually using dumb arguments. He knows that, and that's sad. A lot of conservatives watch these videos, and this is where they get their information from. These videos are the videos that conservatives will watch and will have their opinions confirmed through these videos, sadly. This is propaganda that is spewing racism, homophobia, ableism, Islamophobia, all these things. Well, thank you for watching my video. Please give this video a like, please share this with your friends, and also subscribe to my channel if you have not done so. Also, you can additionally follow me on Instagram and Twitter. I will see you next time.